Hello, hello, hello. This is Gouda.Murder, a podcast about sharp kills and cheesy thrills. Listen in on a group of gals talking true crime and all things cheese.
Hello, cheese bags and listeners and newbies and oldies. I'm Kota and I'm your Gouda gal for the night. I'm sorry, we're outside and there was a mosquito. I have Keely and Kelly with me tonight. Say hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
Hello. Oh, hello, ladies.
Yeah, you missed that one, Kelly.
Well, when you just did your intro, and then there was like a semi longer pause, and that was when you got distracted by the mosquito. I'm like, is she gonna say anything? Hi. I wanted to just interject hi and then mess you up.
No, I'm sorry. Let's start over. Hi, cheese bags. It's Kota and I'm here with Kelly and Keely.
Hi.
Hey. All right. Tonight, I am in Iowa. Not physically, but story-wise, I'm in Iowa.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Not spooky, but a little effed up.
Oh dear, I love effed up.
I
love a twisted tale.
And I actually decided to do this one when Keely brought up that a coworker knew a guy who bought the house where this happened.
Oh my goodness. Okay, cool.
So, hey, close enough to home.
Is it so? Yeah. So it's semi Iowa, almost local. Would you say close to local?
It's a couple hours or so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a drive from the QC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Within the region.
Yeah. So this is around Cedar Rapids. Actually, someone's partying. Sorry. The woman my story is about was from Cedar Rapids, but she lived in Benton, Iowa, and this is where the story takes place. So, Sabrina Christine Hustad Janish was born on December 6th, 1989. She would be 33 years old today.
Oh, wow.
Would be.
Happy birthday.
Not actually today. No, I just said she was born. She was born.
I know.
December 6th. If she were alive.
No.
If she were alive today, she would be 33 years old. She's gonna turn, or she would have turned 34 in December.
Gotcha. Okay, so
yes.
She's a December baby.
Yes, she is.
Got it.
Sagittarius.
I was like Sagittarius.
She was from Cedar Rapids, but lived in Benton, Iowa when she died tragically on Sunday, October 25th, 2015. Sabrina was found at 3257 59th Street Trail in Benton, Iowa, October 25th, 2015. Authorities found Sabrina with multiple stab wounds and signs of strangulation, and her death was ruled a homicide.
Dang.
They could not tell if the strangulation happened before or after her stab wounds, though. The residence where she was found belonged to David C. Miller, and Miller had a long list of felonies and misdemeanors on his record. So I'm going to go through a little backstory of this guy. Miller was born in 1983, also a December baby. His first felony charge was for forgery in 2002, so he was only 19. But his very first charge was underage drinking and possession of drug paraphernalia, and it just kept getting worse.
Oh.
His
19-year-old doesn't do that.
Right. Don't forge your parents' signatures, kids, and it'll just lead you down the bad road.
Damn.
It's the tangle web you
I
weave.
got in trouble in elementary school because my mom would put her signature as mom. And my elementary school teacher was like, Keely, you forged a signature. You're not going on this field trip. And I was like, no. Because my mom would write mom with a smiley face. That was her signature from elementary school up until...
Did she do that on purpose?
I think she just liked...
Yes.
She just liked the name mom.
You're not going on this field trip. I'm going to make him think it was you.
No, She wasn't that mean.
Oh, old lady.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
House.
Bye, Annie.
Bye.
Did you just hit yourself with the door?
I might have. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, listeners. We had a senior dog out to party with us, but she was getting too into
It's
this
her
riffraff.
bedtime. So, like I said, his first felony charge was for forgery in 2002. His next felony was 1 year later for assault causing serious injury.
Oh.
Miller's next charge was a serious misdemeanor in 2006 for domestic abuse assault without intent to cause injury. In 2008, he was charged with another misdemeanor for disorderly conduct, fighting, or violent behavior. In 2009, charged with serious misdemeanor for assault causing bodily harm.
Dang.
2010 was busy for him. March of 2010, Miller received another felony, this time for first-degree burglary. To go with that, he also received 1 aggravated misdemeanor for domestic abuse assault, second offense,
Dang.
3 other misdemeanors, and 3 contempt of court.
Dang, this
Good
man
Lord.
has a track
Mhm.
record.
2 months later,
He's a track star.
Yeah.
Sorry.
2 months later, in May, Miller was charged with a felony yet again, this time for unauthorized possession of a firearm by a felon. However, the court dismissed the case.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. In August that year, 2010, he was charged again for domestic abuse assault, an aggravated misdemeanor, and assault with use of a weapon, also an aggravated misdemeanor. The next few years were quiet. His next charge comes the day after Sabrina's death, but it's not for murder.
Oh.
Oh.
October 26, 2015, Miller is charged with second-degree theft, a felony, but it is dismissed by the court.
Yeah.
In March of 2016, the court charged Miller with 2 counts of second-degree theft, in which he was found guilty, and, drumroll, 1 count of first-degree murder.
Ooh.
Okay.
Meta.
Was somebody surprised? I wasn't.
However, be surprised because the jury found him guilty, but he was ultimately only charged with voluntary manslaughter,
Ah.
which dropped his charge from a Class A felony to a Class C.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'll get into why.
Yeah.
Because now that we know the kind of guy Miller is, we're going to take a cheese break.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So it is cheese break time after that hauntingly disturbing criminal record our main man has stacked up for himself. And the other thing that has stacked up is my knowledge of cheese and what I'm prepared to talk to you guys about. So we are in the Iowa region. Later on, we'll be talking another case with Keely as well, and we had discussed previously about staying around this region, this Quad City area. So currently, we're talking about Kota's Iowa case. Later on, we'll be talking about an Illinois case, just keeping it within the fam, between the regional fam. And so I was kind of back digging on previous cheese notes and got out my trusty cheese notebook. Can you hear all these? Yeah, listen to this page of knowledge, this little flop of information here, and looking back and just trying to remember, like, oh, we've gone over these areas and touched base on other haunting cases, disturbing cases, and delicious cheeses. So I know previously we were around this area. We were talking about a lot of artisan cheeses, a lot of goat farms within this region. And so tonight I kind of took it into a different spin and was looking up famous, or not famous, but again, popular cheeses within the area. And, of course, you got to take it with a grain of salt because, we're in the United States. We're in the big melting pot, the big fondue cheesy melting pot. And not only are that, but we're in the heart of it. We're in the Midwest. And so looking up these websites, trying to find, popular cheeses in Illinois, popular cheeses in Iowa. There's very wide range, and, you take it with a grain of salt. And so this evening I was looking and found on this website that Parmigiano Reggiano.
There you go. Okay. I'll accept it.
Words are hard, you guys.
Words are hard. And so the Parmesan, or a Parmesan-esque cheese that we'll be testing out tonight. Fun facts about this delicious Italian cheese is that it actually the name is reference to the region of Italy where this cheese resonates from. So we're in Illinois, but we're talking about Italy. Illinois, Italy. They both begin with I. And
That's about as close as they get.
I am as close as I can get. Again, stay creative with me, kids.
Yeah,
You have to say Iowa.
And Iowa. See? Illinois.
Iowa.
Italy, Illinois, and Iowa.
Brain fart.
She looks like she's loading right
We're
now.
we're good.
The bar popped up across her
Buffering. Only,
Crash in the background.
yeah. So Illinois, Iowa, and Italy. I love it. And the eyes have it that this Parmigiano Reggiano cheese actually refers to the region in Italy, or regions in Italy, where actually there's only 5 locations in Italy where this cheese can be made because of the microbiological cultures and characteristics of this cheese. Interesting fact. These regions or provinces are Parma, Reggiano Emilia, Modena, Modena. Say that with an Italian accent. Modena.
Yeah, beautiful.
Manta, and Bologna.
Baloney.
Yeah, as
Bologna.
as some would say Bologna, but it's Bologna. Bologna, I think it's Bologna in Italy. Fun check me. Fact check
Girl,
me.
slow down. God,
I've had
dang it.
one sip of this delicious.
I think you inhaled it.
Jelly jar strawberry rhubarb wine.
Yeah, I've had one sip, and
It's
I
good.
mixed in with my bubbler to give it a little bit more fizz and energy because this girl's crashing, obviously.
Or
Anywho,
hard drive.
my hard drive is crashing. Another, yeah, just buffering. So I'm trying to buffer through this cheese. It is a really great cheese. So it is a harder cheese, mostly, again, produced by pastured or unpastured cow's milk in these provinces of Italy. The texture of it is it's firm. You know, if you ever picked up a block of Parmesan cheese or Parmigiano Reggiano, it is a harder cheese. It doesn't have that much squish to it, unless of course left out at room temperature for an extended period of time. But even so, it is definitely more like a harder cheese versus like, you know, your softer blocks, you know, more promising or predominantly known as, you know, your cheddars, Monterey Jacks, Colby's, mozzarellas. Those are a lot much softer and squishier. Where this cheese in texture is firm. I wouldn't say brittly, but it does have a tight give to it. Is that that'd be the
That's what. Excuse me.
That's what she said.
A
I got
taunt.
you.
a taunt?
No, I was
Like, I mean, it doesn't
I
bend.
was
Like,
going
as soon
to ignore
it very-
the innuendo here and say this is why Parmesan grates so easily.
Yes, it grates very well. It looking at it, I sliced it just a moment ago, and it has a almost like a dry texture, even when freshly sliced. And again, it has a very, very low, that's what I wanted to say, a very low moisture content, so a very high breaking point
Do you think
or
you can do
pressure.
that again? Hold on.
She's like, yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can. It has you record this, so
Yeah.
like a very low moisture, very high
Beautiful.
breaking point. It's very good. A very sharp taste. I already took a bite of it. I'm skipping ahead. It has a very sharp taste to it. It is a white cheese or white in colored cheese. In production, they're created as a rind cheese, so it's made in like a big barrel with a really thick, really tough rind. These rinds are usually embossed with the rind by dotted letters and has the name of the cheese, date of production, and seal of approval. So this little sliver was once part of a very big wedge. And you can even see it. Even you see the dotted.
Yeah.
You see the
That's
dotters.
neat.
Yeah, you can even see it on
I
this
didn't know
little.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminds me back when I worked at
Picture from
Hy-Vee right out of high school. I was in the deli department.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know why Parmesan was like the deal of the deli for a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But my manager ordered a wheel of this thing, and this thing was like 100-pound
I love it.
wheel of cheese. And I mean, so to cut those wheels, they have, the two handles with the wire in the middle.
Yeah, like a wire
And
cutter.
he's like all his body strength to try to cut through this
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have to order Parmesan for
very, very
Months.
long. Months.
Months.
I love it. I saw a reel or like a video like on Instagram of this dude like talking to his wife, and he's holding this giant wheel of cheese.
44 pounds of Parmesan for $10.
Yeah, it's like somebody had mislabeled it at the store, and so he just went out and bought it. She's like, why would you need it? And he was like, it was a deal. Like, I'm like, the man ain't wrong. If I saw that type of mislabeling,
100%.
I would 100% get that cheese.
And resell
Wedge it, resell it. You can freeze a lot of cheeses. I don't know how well this type of cheese does freeze and like thaws out. However, I'd be willing to try it. And I mean,
Well, Kota's a pro canner, so I'm sure she could.
yeah,
figure out
we
how to-
could can it.
You don't know
You
that?
can can cheese. However, you can. However, another fun fact. Yeah, another fun fact about this type of cheese. You can take the hardest part of the rind and use it in soup broths, and use that for like a flavor additive, because it's so tough. It is edible, but it doesn't really melt down. So that's also very interesting. So you could tuck off this dotted rind here and make some good soups, and then can the soup.
So is the rind just because it's what's touching the air?
Yeah.
And
So
it's dried out.
It's eventually what's like the most dried out outside part of the cheese. Sometimes there's sometimes like a layer of wax.
That's what I was wondering.
Some rinds do contain like a layer of wax. Some do not, and it's just the overexposed aerated part of the cheese that becomes like the crust.
I'm guessing because it's low moisture is why they don't have the wax on it.
Yeah, you don't need the. I think
mold,
so. Yes,
maybe?
exactly. It doesn't really mold. And of course, it's all about, the types of cheese cave. If you remember that, kids, places in Europe would use, and even now to this day, use different types of caves to age their cheeses. Not this specific one, or, I mean, there could be. However, none of my readings pointed to that, but like definitely how you store it, the moisture levels, the humidity, and all that stuff, and how you take care of the cheese while it's aging. This cheese itself is usually an older cheese, so it is aged anywhere from 12 to 36 months. The cheese that we're eating today says on the package it has been aged over 22 months. So this is also going to be, because of an older age, the taste, which I was saying is a little bit more sharp, is a result of that. So younger cheeses usually have a little bit more of a mild to buttery, bland. I wouldn't say bland as in non-flavorable, but a very mild taste to it. Yeah. Versus older cheeses such as this one right here will be sharper, a little bit more flavorful, a little bit more of a distinct taste.
Think of it as a crabby old grandma.
Yes, crabby old grandma, sassy taste. Even though we love the Grammys. Yes. All right. And so these types of cheeses pair well with different types of vegetables, like raw vegetables such as celeries. Cherry tomatoes are really well with them. You could also pair them with either apples. You know how we love our apples. Apples, grapes, and even some berries such as strawberries pair well with this type of cheese. So, and pears as well. So I almost forgot. So today I brought a pear instead of our go-to apple, trying to change it up a little, give us a little bit more of a variety of flavor. I brought us a little pear. I also brought crackers if you just want to plain cracker taste it out, or even better, sun-dried tomato basil because again, it does pair well with some vegetables. So like a vegetable cracker, don't mind if I do. So I'm going to invite you ladies to try out whichever flavor combo. I'm going to go for the pear. I'm going for the pear.
Take it back.
The pear for the pear.
As you should.
Pear. I'm going to take this.
I forgot what kind of pear this is. This is the brown pear. The brown pear that you see in the supermarket.
What supermarket did you find it? Because I haven't seen pears.
I went to a local shop up in the upper Illinois region of Rockford. So not in Iowa. However, some sort of shop, the brown pears. I know you know what I'm talking about. All right, so take a bite.
What is the whole podcast about? Cheese and murder. So like, what do I pair this cracker with? Or what do I pair this pear with?
Yeah, the cheese.
It's good with the pear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I'm not a huge pear fan.
Yeah.
Just
so
because of the texture.
Yeah, the soft sweetness of the pear goes really well with the firm and sharp taste of the cheddar. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
The Parmesan with that cracker has a pizza-y.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
The tomato basil with the parm, because I mean, When you think about it, yeah, those are definitely, pizza Italiana flavors. So that is also a really good.
As a cheat when I'm
Really good.
sit and eat a whole pizza.
Really good
Have
pair.
some crackers and some
Yeah,
Parmesan.
see? Oh, that's perfect idea. See, you hear that,
Yeah,
listeners?
low
Coda had an
calorie.
excellent idea. If you are craving some pizza just for the flavor, but you're wanting to cut back on this or that or the other, get yourself a wedge of the Parmigiano Reggiano and your good old true, doesn't matter what brand, but sun-dried tomato basil crackers, and have yourself a pizza light bite.
That's cute. Wow, you sound like a commercial.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Sponsor
us. Tomato basil crackers, sponsor us.
Any brand.
Yeah.
First come, first serve.
Yeah.
But we'll take all of them.
We're not picky. We're not desperate at all.
No.
Please.
Please. I would love to sponsor anything of yours. Just give me a script and I will wing it. Just kidding. I will.
put a
I will
sticker on
read
my
word
car.
for word.
Yeah.
I'll put a sticker on my car.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I do well with scripts. Lately, I've been winging it. Therefore, buffering. However, anybody wants to sponsor us, I'm good with a script. I am your lady of words. Without further ado, though, this cheese is amazing. I look forward to snacking on this crumbly, delicious bite size sharp of goodness with my little bite-sized pizza flavors.
There we go.
And take it away, Coda. I'm very much interested in seeing what happens with this gentleman.
And before the break, which, by the way, that cheese break was fabulous.
That was
So
real
good. Little mini pizza bites.
Mini
Mhm.
pizza bites. I'm definitely going to keep that in my
Yeah.
arsenal.
Feeling snacky? Want a whole pizza? Wait a minute. Have cheese and crackers.
Yeah. Eat the whole box of crackers. It's better than a whole pizza.
I don't know
In
about
some
that.
way,
Well-
I think that's better.
In my mind.
In my mind, I would say that's better.
And here is my relationship with food. Okay, so before the break, I was listing off of some of David Miller's worst criminal charges.
Mhm.
Now let's get into his relationship with Sabrina, whose dad, Janish. In 2011, according to one article, Sabrina petitioned the court to establish paternity. So she was claiming that Miller was the father of her child.
Oh,
Okay.
should Jerry Springer up in here?
She, Miller, and the child in question gave DNA samples, but their case was later dismissed. I don't know if that's because he ended up being like, yeah, I'm the dad, or
Yeah.
the court was like, this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
I searched online for that case and could not find it under either of their names in Jasper County where they said it, where she filed it.
Mhm.
Nothing. But obviously the newspaper was able to fact check that, so I'm just blind, or I'm searching in the wrong place. I don't
Right.
know. Or because it was a minor involved. It wasn't listed because it was like a civil
Yeah.
case and not a criminal case.
Could be.
Excuse me. So anyway, according to the court transcript for Sabrina's death, she was Miller's live-in girlfriend at the time of her death. And in one article, I believe it was the Gazette, said that she had moved in with him 10 days before she was killed.
Oh.
I don't know if she
Oh.
was living there longer or...
But just technically moved in.
Right.
10
So,
days.
but officially in the court record or whatever, the transcript, it says, it describes her as Miller's live-in girlfriend.
Okay.
That October Sunday morning, around 4 a.m., a Benton County sheriff received a call about a stolen vehicle. In the court document, a man named Justin Varner contacted authorities after he was woken up by the sound of his truck.
Oh,
He ran outside to find a man in a hoodie stealing his Chevy Silverado.
must be nice that he heard his car get stolen.
Well, it was a 1977, so it still had the loud exhaust.
Oh god! You just need to take the mufflers off all
Yeah,
of your
right.
cars, Keely, and you'll really,
No,
really,
no.
really hear them rip roaring as they turn on. No thief can get away
What
from
do they
that.
what do they put in the cherry? What do they call them? Cherry bombs in your sauce, like the
Yeah,
There we go.
whatever the I don't know. I don't know cars.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Anyway, Justin Varner had his truck stolen, and he recalled that the man had a deer in the headlights look on his face and assumed that the guy was under the influence of drugs, specifically meth.
What the-
At the time, Varner didn't recognize Miller, but later identified him at trial. Police found Varner's truck a few miles away, and it was totaled against the front of a crane
Oh,
in a construction zone.
good
Okay.
lord.
Good lord.
Varner and the neighbors they found a trail of blood from where his truck was stolen, and they followed it all the way over to Miller's driveway because they lived not far from each other.
Okay.
Country neighbors.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They came to Miller's driveway. That blood ended up being his after being matched to blood in Varner's truck. And when they got to the property, they found Sabrina lying in the front yard. Varner and the neighbors called 911. By the time they found her, they said she was cold.
Ugh.
Miller was later notified, after he was caught from stealing this vehicle, that a woman's body had been found outside of his home, and he responded, "I don't know anything about it. I don't know who it is." Okay.
Huh. Not sus at all.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Which hold on, that could be like that could be
I don't know
a
what you're
positive.
talking
That could be.
So I'm
I
gonna
don't know
go.
anything
I'm gonna go into it a little at the end of this because so anyway, I'll get to there.
Okay. Circle back.
Sometime before 9 a.m. that same morning, a second truck, a white Ford F-150, was stolen from outside a machine shed that belonged to a man named Brian Brummer. Brummer lived an eighth of a mile from the construction site where Varner's truck was recovered. So Miller wrecked the Silverado and then took off. Stole a different truck.
Okay.
So state troopers by this point are flying over trying to find this guy. And so over Pleasant Creek State Recreation Area, they spotted the Ford stuck in the mud in a densely forested area near Palo. The truck had slid off the road and hit several trees. It ripped the bumper off.
Good Lord.
When they got to the truck, the interior was covered in blood. The airbag had gone off. But Miller was nowhere to be found. So a little bit further down by the lake, a hooded sweatshirt and boots were found, as well as Miller's bare footprints. So he had stripped and took off.
I don't need these clothes anymore. Bye.
So they ended up finding him walking with visible injuries and took him in. But Brenda, what?
You said that you found him. He was naked, or
He was
stripped.
stripped. He wasn't.
But it reminds me of the scene from Talladega Nights
I'm
when Will Ferrell is on the racetrack.
on fire.
Oh. Yes.
He strips down his under. He
Yes.
takes off his tracksuit and he's
Yes.
immediately in his
The
underwear.
invisible fire.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
immediately what it reminded me of.
Yeah, well, I don't
Stripped
think
out.
he was completely naked, but he was without a sweatshirt and without shoes.
Okay.
Brenda Crosby, the state criminalist, recovered blood samples from boots, and the hoodie, and I'm guessing from the trucks as well. But she was unable to extract DNA due to bacterial growth from the mud that had gotten on everything.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense.
So Crosby was
Nature's
so she was, however, able to use bloodstains on the boots. So I'm guessing what she couldn't get was off of the hoodie.
Okay.
She found 2 sets of DNA. One belonged to Miller and the other one was unknown. Samples were taken from the interior of both stolen vehicles. Both matched Miller. And then samples from Sabrina's pajama pants and her bare foot also matched Miller. So his blood was found on Sabrina's body.
Yep.
Okay. That's
And-
never a good sign.
Right.
Gouda.
And
That's not
her-
Gouda.
So then they matched her blood to one of the bloodstains on a lace of one of the boots.
Okay.
So you were there at some point.
Each other's blood be touching.
Yeah.
They were taking blood oaths.
Hmm.
Blood packs. You
Yeah.
guys ever do that?
Well, I don't think
No.
I've ever used one where I left a pool of blood.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
That's
Never.
No, I've actually never done one.
If somebody
I
slit
think
their hand in front of me, I'd be like, and I'm gone.
you communicable diseases don't
Yeah.
touch me.
Fuck no. Keely.
yes.
You got
Me and my childhood best friend, Michaela, did a blood pact when we were little.
I mean,
How's
I
it
did
working
the spit in the palm of my hand.
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in a few years.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
Michaela, get out there.
Yeah, yikes.
We still have a pact.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
It was.
Friends forever. Well, that didn't work. did
Yeah, how's
it?
it
No,
working
I'm
out
just
again?
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I don't know you.
That's I don't know you.
Okay, so back to knives. A knife was found inside Miller's residence in a pool of blood. Blood. Sabrina's blood was positively identified on the knife, and a sign of a struggle was found in the home as well. Sabrina's autopsy showed defensive wounds on her hands and 24 measurable stab wounds.
Yeah. See, knife. I would much rather get shot than knife.
Would you rather?
Yeah, would you rather get shot once or stabbed multiple times?
Are we living through either of these?
Yeah.
You have a possibility of living through the knife attack. However, the gunshot, you're just dead. There's no suffering.
No,
you're
I'll
just
take the
gone.
wounds. I'll take the knife wounds if I could live.
I don't know
Your
about that.
adrenaline is pumping. You know how quickly, like, you cut a
It's not
finger on
guaranteed.
accident?
It's like, okay, it's like, I don't know. Ugh, God.
How about just neither?
Neither.
Like, can I die in my sleep?
Yeah, true. But these are your only two options that I'm giving you, so pick wisely.
Then I'll just take the stabbings.
Just kill me.
Bye, Kelly.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah. Bang.
Okay. Miller's jury trial took place in September of 2016. The jury came back with a guilty verdict on 2 counts of theft, but ultimately only found Miller guilty of voluntary manslaughter. So that first, on the 26th of 2015, you know how I said he was charged with theft and it was dismissed?
Mhm.
That's what he got picked up on
Gotcha.
when they found him walking around. They're like, oh, you stole this truck. We know it's
Okay.
you. We're going to charge you with it. But they didn't end up charging him with it
Okay.
at the time. So now, a year later, they are charging him with it, and he does get found guilty of those.
Okay.
He was sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 15 years for the thefts and only 1 10-year term for the voluntary manslaughter. His total sentence is not to exceed 40 years. So he got more time for
For
stealing
the
a truck,
vehicle.
for one truck,
Than he did for
than
actually
for
killing
the,
somebody.
yes.
That's
So
not
then-
fucked up.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Right. So then I copied out of, I copied this down. 5 Iowa Code Section 707.4 says that a person commits voluntary manslaughter when that person causes the death of another under circumstances which would otherwise be murder, if he or she acts solely as a result of sudden, violent, and irresistible passion, resulting from serious provocation, sufficient to excite such passion in a person, and there is not an interval between the provocation and the killing, in which a person of ordinary reason and temperament would regain his or her control and suppress the impulse to kill.
They're trying to blame the fact that he was on drugs for the charge.
Voluntary manslaughter is an included offense under an indictment for murder in the first or second degree. It is a Class C felony. He appealed.
So okay, dumb that down a little bit. So
So
involuntary, I get would be like if you got in a car crash and
Right.
the other person that you hit died.
So voluntary is saying like it was happening because they were already in like a fight.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So they were yelling at each other and
Right,
emotions
and it-
escalated.
Right.
That's
Emotions
voluntary.
were still high. He
Okay.
didn't have a time to think about it and then kill her. If he had
Okay.
like chilled out and then went back and killed her,
Yes.
it would have been first degree apparently.
Okay, because it would have been intent.
Mhm.
But it would have been. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yes, got it.
So he appealed and he tried. I laughed at this. So apparently, the essential element of theft is to permanently deprave the owner thereof. So you're stealing it, you're taking it from the owner to keep it from the owner.
Yes.
They tried to say that he wasn't stealing those vehicles to keep them. He was only using them as a, quote, erratic exodus from his home. And that the state did not have evidence indicating that he wanted to keep the vehicles for himself.
True.
Damn.
He used
Correct.
it as like a fleeing vehicle,
So
not
then,
to keep it and use it and
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Maybe he had intentions on bringing it back later.
Maybe.
Well, so they-
after,
There's no
and
proof.
after I'm
So-
done wandering this field and I clean up all this blood, I'm gonna bring this truck back.
so I put the link here and it goes through because in court, like when it's saying certain things, it has to cite
Mhm.
articles and all this stuff. I
Okay.
believe it was Harrington is what it was called. I don't
Okay.
remember the numbers. It was basically saying that if someone were to take a vehicle and then like realize that the cops were coming after them and then they ditched the vehicle and took off, that was technically returning the vehicle. So they couldn't be charged with like theft.
Oh, so that's why the kids didn't bring my car back.
It was actually they
were
that
gonna-
was it was up to you to get your car back. They didn't keep it.
They just were under the impression that you would chase.
You would get it
after
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
You would get it back later.
them eventually.
Right. So then they came back and said, well, theft can also like mean that you took it without permission. So like obviously the owner was running after you saying, no, don't take my car.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
And
You do
you
not
took
have
it
my
anyway.
consent.
Right. You took it anyway, and then you ruined it. You totaled the bitch.
You
You
ruined
ran it
it.
into a crane.
Yeah, that's one way of ruining it.
Right.
Into a crane.
Big construction
So-
crane. Those bitches are big.
Big. Big. And then for the murder charge, they were also going to try to charge him with a habitual offender. I think that's what it's called. But there are five rules for charging or treating someone as a habitual offender. You have to make it known that we're trying to charge you that way. You have to announce what the other charges were. Like, he already had certain felonies on his record.
Mm-hmm.
He has to say that he's not going to contest that, because if he has the opportunity to say, no, that wasn't me. And then a jury has to come back and be like, no, that is you.
Mm-hmm.
He decided, no, I'm not contesting those. But there was one thing that the state didn't do, and I'd have to go back and read it. And if anyone wants to read the whole transcript, I have the article linked, and it'll be posted when we post the episode. But he tried to come back and say, well, we're gonna appeal all this because you guys didn't do this one thing. But they flat out said, you said, yeah, that's you. You didn't argue it.
Yeah.
You said those felonies were yours, and you're
Yes.
not contesting it, and you had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So, as far as, at the end of it, it said that it was... I'm going to pull this up so I can get the wording exact.
These neighborhood kids, they just be barking, riling this old granny lady inside. Annie.
Well, the deer have been walking through the neighborhood too. It's
yeah.
fall, y'all.
It's fall,
So yeah, it's either the deer or the coyotes that are freaking the dogs out, which is tripping old lady Annie out.
Gotcha.
Old grandma dog.
Old grandma dog.
So he said that they were prejudiced against him for prior convictions. So
Oh yeah.
it said, but the question before us is not whether Miller suffered no prejudice because evidence existed to establish the prior convictions, but whether he knowingly and voluntarily admitted to the prior convictions. But he flat out said, I'm not. He said that he's not going to take it to jury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not contesting my past
Right.
felonies.
Right.
But then at the end of it, it says, the proper remedy in this case is to vacate Miller's sentence and remand for further proceedings consistent with this decision. Judgment affirmed, sentence vacated, and remanded for further proceedings and resentencing. I couldn't find anything else, so I'm assuming they just haven't done any more with it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still in prison.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's there.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
I know we've talked about this before, but the judicial system is a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of specificities. It's a lot of, oh, well, you said this, you didn't say this, so therefore I have a case to reboot this.
Yep.
Which is crazy, but also that's also how you weasel in and get the bad guys.
And
that's how bad guys get away, but that's also how they get the bad guys with those little tiny details. So I don't know. I'm frustrated that's even I'm glad that he's obviously in prison or in jail or whatever. However, it's just kind of still a little sickening that they're still arguing this matter.
Yeah. So I'll correct myself. The thing about the stolen vehicle was actually, that case was based off of Schminke and Morris.
Oh.
And Harrington had to do with...
Schminke in the brain.
And Harrington had to do with the... what was the word I was saying?
Yes.
Habitual offender.
Yes.
That was the Harrington thing.
Yes.
So, if you want to read all through that, if you can understand it, it'll take... it took me a second. I'm reading it and okay.
If someone could
reword this
us,
for me. Yeah.
Dumb it down for me.
Speak
Can I
legalese to me.
spark note this? What does this mean?
And that was filed in 2018, so.
Okay, so he's
Fairly
been in there.
recently.
For a
Yeah,
while,
he's been in there for going on 5... No, he's been in there for... This happened 5 years ago. I think he's been in jail
since then.
since 2016.
Okay, good.
15. He got arrested, and I think they
So
kept him.
8 years, almost 9 years next year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if he's going to do that 40-year sentence, he's got about 30 left.
Oh, there we go.
Boom goes the dynamite. All right, well, that was very interesting. And he never, like, besides just him getting in this heated argument over this stupid thing, like, they were just like, that was it. It was just like heat of the moment, or at least that's what the lawyers were going on.
I thought that was tires squealing.
No, that's the coyotes.
Oh.
We're just closed. We're fine.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. We're in a cage, you guys. Screened in patio, cage, same thing. I'm in a protective cage.
They're supposed to be afraid of us.
Yes.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
if you guys have any questions or concerns, suggestions, cheese break ideas
How to tackle an old lady dog.
Yeah.
You can email us at Gouda.Murder@gmail.com.
Perfect. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube
Yeah.
at
We're new.
Gouda.Murder Podcast Official. It's the same thing.
Same
For
thing.
both things.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Yep.
On the YouTube. The
Heyo.
boob tube.
See, look at us.
Look at us. Look at us
Mhm.
remembering things.
And as we also have Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
We're on everything.
where you can find a podcast.
Yeah.
You can find us.
Yes, any free podcast and or paid podcast platform. I don't want to say all of them, but majority popular opinion ones. You can find us. Make sure to check us out. Give us a like. Again, tell us if you like us. Tell us if you hate us. Tell us about some cheese you would love to learn, and or a case you would love to hear over our podcasting webs.
Anyway, stay fresh.
Cheese
bags.
bags.